Good morning or good afternoon. My name is Mrs. Stewart, and I am one of the Sapulpa High School counselors. I'm one of three. There are three of us, and you'll get to meet us, see our picture and our names and contact information in here in just a bit. But I am joining you today via video to do your pre-enrollment for Sapulpa High School. Even though you're freshmen and you're technically earning high school credit, you will actually get to be sophomores in the high school next year. So we're going to get you all ready to do your class registration for 10th grade for next school year. So let's start off by looking at our agenda for the day. This is what I'm going to cover. I do ask that you pay close attention, that you have everything put away, and you are listening, you are watching, because there is a whole lot of information in this video that is very useful, that is going to answer a whole lot of questions and be very helpful when it comes to registering for your classes. So let's start today by looking at the high school transcript. Now, all of you should have received a copy of your transcript. I will tell you this is the old format for the transcript. You guys have a new format. It's much nicer than this one, actually. It's snazzier, your name, everything up here at the top. It looks much, much better than this one. This is just an old one that I use for example to show you some things that are important. The first thing I want you to know about your high school transcript, it is a legal document. Okay, it is representing you and your high school career. All of your demographic information is up here at the top, along with your graduating class and all of that good stuff. So please know that, again, this is a legal document. It's representing you, and you want it to represent you well. Every class that you take for high school credit goes on this transcript. So I kind of want to show you how these work, how they're broken down. If you'll notice, there are some eighth grade grades on here that they don't really count for high school credit. Some do. You can take some classes as an eighth grader that count as high school credit. And since this transcript, that has been fixed. So the only classes from eighth grade that count for high school credit are now on your transcript. So mine's going to look a lot different than yours. So let's look at how each row is broken up by school year and grade. So this is the 18-19 ninth grade, 19-20 10th grade, and so on. Below are the list of classes you took that school year. This is the grade you were in when you took them. And then these are your grades that you earned. Notice it is divided up by semester one, semester two. Each school year has two parts. You take a class the first semester and you earn the first half of the credit. You take the class the second semester and you earn the second half of the credit. So let's look at this English one taken in ninth grade. They made a C, and the .50 next to it means they earned half of the credit. They took it the second semester, made the C, they earned the other half of the credit. Now, if we go down here to their Spanish 2 grade, we'll notice they did pass it barely, but they passed it first semester, earned half a credit. They did not pass it second semester, and you'll notice .00, which means they did not earn the credit. If you make an F in any class, you will not earn the credit, whether that be a core class or an elective class. You will not earn the credit. Every class you take goes on this transcript. So, like I said, you want it to represent you. You want it to represent you well. So we don't want a whole lot of F's on there. Okay? So that's kind of how this is all set up. Now I'm going to go over what the state requires for numbers of credits to graduate, as well as what courses or classes are required here in just a bit. But I want to show you one more thing on the transcript. I want to go over the cumulative data. Now on this transcript, it is down here at the bottom. On your transcript that you have, it's going to probably be up here in the right-hand corner because you have the newer, nicer format. So you're going to be looking up here, but for this old one, I'm looking down here. One of the things I want to point out is the total credit hours earned. Okay, these are how many credits did I take and pass? This person took and passed 19 credits. They've earned 19 credits. Underneath that is total credit hours attempted. That means how many classes or credits did I take that I attempted to take to pass? 20 and a half. This difference is because they failed some classes. This is how many classes I tried. This is how many classes I actually passed and earned. Okay? Then you have a cumulative weighted GPA and you have a cumulative simple GPA. The weighted GPA is going to include that weighted credit for any honors, AP classes, or later any TCC concurrent classes. Those two count as honors credits. The simple GPA is going to be the regular grading scale. So for an A, you get 4 points. For a B, you get 3. For a C, you get 2 points. For a D, you get 1. And obviously for an F, you don't earn any credit. The weighted GPAs are different. For an A, you get 5 points. For a B, you get 4. A C, you get 3. A D, you get 2. And for an F, 0. So that's why this may be different. This person's is the same. That simply means they have not taken any honors or weighted type classes. If you have taken honors classes, your cumulative GPA is going to be slightly higher than your simple GPA. All right? So once again, this is your transcript. It's a very important document. It is a legal document, but one other thing that I want to point out is either over here on the right-hand side or down here at the bottom, your assigned counselor for high school, so your next year school counselor, has looked at your transcript, what you're currently enrolled in, and they have handwritten what you need to enroll in for next school year. So please don't lose this. This is going to be vital and very helpful to you when it comes to actually registering for your classes. We've already written on there what you need to enroll in. All right, let's move on now to the credit check sheet. This is also something that your teacher has either already passed out to you or will be passing out to you. This is a fantastic tool to use to help you kind of see what I've done and what I have left to do. I want to kind of go over this to show you what's required, but also show you how you can use your transcript, transfer your transcript over to this by hand and use it as a tool. A lot of students will keep this on the refrigerator, update it each semester, so they have a constant idea of, okay, I've completed all of this. This is what I have left to do. So for the state of Oklahoma, they require a minimum of 23 credits to graduate. That's the kind of the magic number. I would say probably 95% of our students end up with more than those 23 credits, which is fantastic. But you have to meet at least that number. Now, within that number, though, the state is very specific on what classes you have to take and pass in order to graduate. So let's start with the different core types. First is English. You have to have 4 credits of English to graduate. So you take it all 4 years. You're currently enrolled in English 1 right now. English 2 will be 10th grade, 11th, and then 12th. All 4 of these are required credits, so you do have to pass them. If you fail a semester or both, you have to do credit recovery for that. So if you failed English first semester, you're going to write that down here, knowing that you are going to have to do credit recovery for it. Secondly, the state requires a minimum of 3 math credits between 9th and 12th grade. Yes, some of you do take Algebra 1 as 8th graders, and you still get credit for it, but you still will have to do 3 math credits between 9th and 12th grade. So Algebra 1 is not an option. Everyone must take and pass Algebra 1 in order to graduate. We typically move students into geometry next, and then Algebra 2 after geometry. We do have some more advanced math classes that our seniors usually take. Now, although you could technically be finished with math by your junior year, if you are college bound, we highly recommend and push you to take a fourth math your senior year. It is vital and makes a huge difference in your success when you do go to college. The state requires 3 science credits. Biology is not an option. That is one that is definitely required. For the most part, ninth graders take physical science, 10th graders take biology 1, and juniors take chemistry. Now, some of you may be in biology 1 right now as a ninth grader. You'll move to chemistry next year as a 10th grader, and we have other sciences for you to choose from your junior and senior year. Science is another one that we highly encourage you to take a fourth year science and not skip out on that. It too is vital in helping you be successful in college. Now, social studies credits. The state requires 3 of these as well. You do a semester of Oklahoma history and a semester of government in ninth grade. Our 10th graders do world history, and you do U.S. history in 11th grade. Okay, again, if you have taken and failed any of these, you will have to do credit recovery because they are required for graduation. The state also requires 1 fine art credit, and I will be going over with you when we look at our core classes and our elective classes here in a little bit as to what qualifies as that. Then you have to have 2 years of foreign language or 2 years of computer technology. And what that means is it has to be 2 years of the same. You cannot do 1 year of Spanish and 1 year of computer. You have to do 2 of the same. And then the state also requires an additional core credit. And what that can be is another foreign language, another computer, another history or social studies credit, another science, or even another math. 9 times out of 10, what happens, this additional core credit is usually satisfied by that fourth math we have you take your senior year. Okay, and then of course the rest of them count as elective credits. So let's go back up to the top. A few other things that the state requires to graduate is a personal financial literacy program. We do that with you as seniors. Your senior year, you will do this. CPR, it's a CPR training, not a certification. You will be doing that next year as a sophomore. And then, of course, ICAP. You probably have already done that for this school year, but this is the one that you will do every single year. The state requires that you do it every single year or you cannot graduate. One that is missing is your U.S. citizenship, or I think it's called the naturalization test. That is required for you to graduate as well. That has not been added on here, but will be shortly. But we do all of that with you. Well, you do the U.S. citizenship test, I believe, in ninth grade, and then you do the rest of these ICAP in ninth grade as well, but the rest of these all throughout high school. So this is that credit check sheet. Again, I encourage you to use it with the transcripts you have, transfer over. It's a great tool to help you kind of stay planned for what is to come. All right, let's move on to credit recovery and early graduation. We use Edgenuity. It's an online program that we use for credit recovery. I will tell you there is not a lot of room for 10th graders in the credit recovery. Those classes are pretty full each year. So we highly recommend that you enroll for summer school to do your credit recovery. So if you have failed any courses that you need credit recovery for this school year as a ninth grader, there will be information coming later in the semester, I would assume late April, about summer school. We encourage you to sign up and just get that taken care of and out of the way before you start your 10th grade year. If you're interested in early graduation or working ahead, this is also done through Edgenuity. This is not something that is you need to be in a rush about. You are still a freshman, will be a sophomore. We can be looking at this later in your sophomore year. But this is an option. Sometimes students do choose to graduate at the end of their junior year. Some decide they want to finish midway through their senior year. There are some pros and cons to that. But if you have any questions about that, just email your counselor, your high school counselor, your assigned high school counselor. And again, this is not, there's no rush on this. We can discuss this at a later date. Okay, the curriculum guide. Today after school, you and your parent are going to receive an email called pre-enrollment email. It will come from me, Mrs. Stewart, to your school email. And in that will be this video presentation, as well as lots of links and attached documents for you to use to help you guide you through this class registration process. And one of those is going to be the link to the curriculum guide. This curriculum guide is fantastic. It used to be paper and you have to flip through. This one is much better. It's much more user-friendly, easier to use. It is on our Sapulpa High School webpage under the SHS 23-24 courses. Now, these two videos are the enrollment videos from last school year. So these will be removed. Once this video is complete, it will be uploaded and the new video presentations will be right here. But I primarily want to show you what is down here. So if you scroll down, you can click on any one of these icons and learn more information about this title. So the scheduling process, how does that work? I can click on that. I can read all about these tips on registering, pre-enrolling for next school year. Say I want to know, okay, what are the graduation requirements? Excuse me. I can click on here. I can see that graduation checklist again, and I can come down here, look at all the graduation requirements, any requirements for NCAA. This is full of fantastic information. I can also learn about Oklahoma's Promise. Do I have a goal of graduating with honors? If I do, I can click on this and read what I need to do in order to do that. But also what I want to show you, if you scroll down a little more, you're going to see a list of all of our course offerings. And we have it divided up by department. So let's say I want to learn, okay, what are all of my options for art? If I want to take art, what are my options? So I can click on visual arts, and as you can see, here's the title of the class and a course description. So you can kind of scroll through here, read what they're about, what you will cover in that class. I can also, maybe I want to look at ag. I can click on this. It will take me to what is available in the ag science, ag communications. You can read all about that. So this is an extremely user-friendly, easy to explore. I encourage you to spend some time on here just exploring. Maybe encourage your parent or guardian to do the same. This is full of information and can answer a whole lot of questions. Again, this will be a link on the pre-enrollment email that you receive today after school. Okay, now you will also today, if you haven't already, be handed a planning page. On the front will be core classes. On the back will be the elective class options. This too will also be attached as a document in your pre-enrollment email that you'll receive today after school. But I just kind of want to show you what these look like. This is not something that you will complete and turn in. This is just for you to use as a plan guide. So for English next year, you have a couple of options. For social studies, you have a couple of options, and so on. So when you go in to do your class registration, you can mark on these, circle them, do whatever you want to this page. Again, this is not something you will turn in. It's just for you to see what's available and help you plan on paper. If you are currently in physical science right now, you will take biology next year. If you are currently in biology right now, you have an option of on-level chemistry or honors chemistry. For math, if you are in Title I math, right now, you are going to select Algebra 1. If you are currently in Algebra 1, you are going to move to Geometry. If you are currently in Geometry, you're going to move to Algebra 2 or Honors Algebra 2. Okay? I don't believe there are any, but there may be one ninth grade student that's already in Honors Algebra 2. If there are any of those, please know that your high school counselor will take care of correcting the appropriate math class for you. So again, this is just a planning page. This is for you to keep, write on, circle, do whatever you want to do with that. That's the core class side. If you flip that page over, you are going to see the 10th grade electives on the back. Okay, I want to point out a few things to you on this page. If you'll notice, all electives are divided up by department: art, computer, facts, music, so on. At the bottom, you will see there are some notations, and I want to point these out to you. But first, let's go back up here. There are some departments that have a prerequisite course. What that means is you have to take that class first before you can take anything else in the department. So for example, art. Art 1 is a prerequisite for all art classes. If you think, hey, I really want to take 3D Mixed Media 1, if you have not had Art 1, you cannot take that class. You do have to take Art 1 first, and then you can move to the other art courses. With computer, same thing. Fundamentals of Technology is a prerequisite. You must take that first. With ag classes, you have to take Ag Science 1 before any other classes. So please be aware of that when you're looking at these electives. So at the bottom, 1 asterisk by a course means it counts as an art credit or a fine art credit. If you'll notice, everything in the art department counts as a fine art credit. Everything in the music department counts as a fine art credit. Ag communications, because it is a speech class, it too counts as a fine art credit. And if you look over here under the speech department, you'll see that all the drama classes and the speech classes count as a fine art as well. And there are a few down here that are applied communications, media production, and chieftain podcasts. Okay? Now, what counts as a computer tech credit? That's going to be noted by 2 asterisks. So you'll see here, all of these are going to count as a computer technology credit. These over here are more just specific to athletics. All right, this little sign right here means to take that class, you have to be in a sport. That is going to be advanced girls weight training and advanced weight conditioning. You can only take these 2 classes if you are enrolled in an athletic or sport class. The double here means you cannot take with the sport, and that only applies to PE. If you are enrolled in PE, you cannot, if you are not enrolled in a sport, you cannot take PE. The weight trainings go with the sports. If you're not in a sport, you take PE. All right. So again, this is not for you to mark on and turn in. This is just a planning page for you. You can circle, you can highlight, you can rank them in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. However, this is just for a planning guide for you. So back here, we will be attaching these documents. I know you have a copy of it, but we will also be attaching them in your pre-enrollment email. Okay, now it's time to get into actually how do I enroll? How do I register for next year's classes? Well, this year we are going to have you do that actually through your PowerSchool account. So today, after school, once again, you and your parent will receive a pre-enrollment email. It will have all the instructions, all the links, and helpful documents attached, giving you information on what to do. But once you are ready to actually put in your class registration, you've looked at your planning guide, you've decided what you're going to take, you are going to log in to your PowerSchool account. It will not work on your phone. So if you have PowerSchool on your phone, that's fantastic. But it will only work if you log in on a desktop computer or your Chromebook. No worries though. If you have that saved on your phone and you go to log in on your Chromebook and you forgot your password, just email your current counselor, Mrs. Johnson, and she can send you your PowerSchool login information for you to log in on your Chromebook. Okay, so that's how we're going to do this. Now, I have a couple of things I want to point out that are very, very important before I show you how to register. The first thing is 10th grade students may only do hybrid classes, and this is where I need everyone's attention. You can only do hybrid classes if you are on track for graduation and you do not have any F grades. Okay? And you will only be allowed to do 2. You must email your counselor to see if you qualify. Once again, you can only do hybrid. That means some in person, some online. You may only do 2, but you have to be on track for graduation and you do not have any F grades. You have to email your counselor to see if you qualify. There are not virtual or hybrid options on your class registration. You will still register just like if you were going to be in person for all 7 classes. And then if you're interested in hybrid, you'll email your counselor. We'll see if you qualify and go from there. Now let's talk total virtual. 10th grade students wanting to enroll as a virtual student for the 23-24 school year. You are still going to need to register for all 7 in-person classes. At a later date, there will be an online application for total virtual. You will need to watch for this on our social media websites, phone calls, emails, all of that information will come out at another time. You are still going to register right now as an in-person student. Then your parent will need to do an application for you to be total virtual. There will be a committee that reviews those to see who is approved, and then the class registration will change at that point. So real quickly again, everybody's enrolling as in person for all 7 classes. If you have a question about hybrid, you'll email your counselor. If you and your parent want you to be total virtual, meaning all 7 classes online, you will wait until a later date and fill out the application to do so. Okay, now let's move on to me showing you how you're going to do your registration on your PowerSchool account. Once again, if you have it saved on your phone, but you can't log in on your Chromebook, email Mrs. Johnson and she will get you your login information. I am going to do a test student and I'm going to sign in. And I'm going to show you, once you log into your PowerSchool, you are going to notice over here on the left all of your navigation tools. You are going to go to the class registration. That is going to take you to your options for next school year. Now, my screen is going to look very different from yours. You are going to be pre-enrolled for an English, a social studies, a science, and a math. All of this will be pre-enrolled for you based on the classes you are currently in. If you are in regular English 1, you are pre-enrolled for regular English 2. If you are currently enrolled in Honors English 1, you will be pre-enrolled for Honors English 2. Social Studies will be World History. Science will depend on what science class you're in right now. Math will depend on what math class you're in right now. Okay? Now, if you will read the directions at the top, it's telling you to use those paper pre-planning sheets. Remember the core classes and elective classes? You have it as a handout. You're going to write all over those, highlight, do what you want, use them to plan. You're going to use that page to help you fill this out. So for English, you're going to use the pencil icon on the right-hand side to correct if your default class is incorrect. So for example, I am pre-enrolled for English 2, but I want to take regular or honors English 2 next year. I'm going to go over here, click on my pencil, and I can fix that. Okay? You'll notice too, all of these red exclamation marks, those are all required. Everything on here is required for you to do. If you are fine with your pre-enrolled course, you can move on to the next one. If you want to change it, you're going to click over here and you're going to make that change. Mine looks different because mine's not pre-enrolled for anything. So I'm going to go ahead and just make my choices for each of these classes. So I chose English 2. I'm in English 1 this year. I'm pre-enrolled for English 2. I'm good with that. Next year, I am currently in 8th grade history, or I'm sorry, no, you're in Oklahoma history and government. I'm going to take regular world history. For science, I'm in physical science. I'm going to choose biology 1. For math, I may be in algebra 1 right now, so I am going to click geometry. If you're in geometry right now, you're going to choose one of the algebra 2s. So my cores are ready. I'm going to scroll down here. Notice I have elective choice number 1, choice number 2, 3, and then I have alternate choices. Let's talk a minute about this. You are ranking your elective choices. So elective 1 is your top choice. Like, I can't live without this class. Your number 2 choice, your number 3 choice. Now, let me be very clear. The alternate choices are often used. Sometimes we cannot get one of these 3 to fit in your schedule as when we're working on your schedule. So we have to come down here. So these are going to be your alternate electives, and you need to rank them as well. This is going to be your alternate choice number 1, alternate choice number 2, alternate choice number 3. Now, on any of these elective choices, do not choose a class, even if it is the very bottom of the barrel last choice you're making. Do not choose a class that you are not okay being in. If you do not want to be in PE, it does not need to be any of your choices. If you make all of your choices and you're like, I just don't know what else to put, so I'm going to put PE down here, it still is a possibility that you may get put in PE. That's why we have you give us so many elective choices, because sometimes they don't fit, and that's why we have you rank them so that we can move down your list. So please go over here to the pencil. You're making your top choice, okay? You want to take ag science. That's you want to take it, no doubt about it. That's your number 1 choice. Number 2 choice, I'm going to pick my class. Now, if you'll notice down here, there are multiple pages, so don't miss out on choosing what class you want, okay? There's my number 2 choice. I'm going to go through here, and I am going to make sure I choose everything that I want. So there's my number 3 choice. Now I'm on my alternate choices, okay? Now, obviously, these aren't my choices. I'm just simply randomly choosing some classes that I think I might want. Okay, so I have all of my, all of my classes chosen. I'm going to review it, look at all of these, make sure they're what I want, make sure I have all these green check marks over here so I've met all the required courses, and I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom. At the bottom, there is a thing about required course credit or required credit hours. Please ignore that. That is basically for office use only. Only the counselors will be worried about that. What you're going to worry about is, what classes did I choose, and do I have everything with a green check mark so I know I can submit. You're going to hit submit, and there will be your requests. Okay? So once again, you are going to, in order to do your class registration, you are going to log into your PowerSchool account on your Chromebook or a desktop computer, not your phone. Once again, you will receive an email, a pre-enrollment email from Mrs. Stewart in your school email after 3 o'clock today, Wednesday, February 22nd. It will have this presentation, links to documents, as well as this video, the curriculum guide, and all the instructions that you will need to do your pre-registration or your pre-enrollment. Let's talk about due dates. Once this opens today after school, somewhere between 3 and 5, it will be open for 1 week. So you will do your pre-planning pages. You will sit down with the parent and guardian, go over all of that with them. You'll log into your PowerSchool account and complete your class registration. You have a week to do so. All of this will be cut off on Wednesday, March 1st at 5 p.m. So you have plenty of time, okay, to complete this. The sooner you do it, the better. That way you don't forget. Please note though, on March 1st at 5 o'clock, you will no longer be able to access that class registration. So be sure you complete it before the deadline. Also, all honors classes are a full year commitment. That is something you need to think really hard about before you enroll. A lot of students will choose, oh, I want to do all honors classes. They get in the class and realize, whoa, maybe I shouldn't have chosen all 4. Maybe I should have just done 2. You will not be allowed to get out of that class. It is a full year commitment. So think long and hard about that before you choose those courses. Also remember, a lot of classes require teacher approval or a tryout. As I go back over here to the electives, I want to show you cheer, you have to try out. Performing arts theater, you have to have an approval from Miss Braswell. Athletic trainer, you have to apply for that. Ping Ping, the dance team, you have to try out. So please remember, a lot of those are dependent on whether you make the team or get approved and so on and so forth. Okay, after the deadline of March 1st is over, okay, once you've completed your class registration, the 3 of us high school counselors will be reviewing and making any adjustments to all student registration requests over the next few weeks. When I say adjustments, I mean sometimes students enroll in courses that they've already had, that they haven't met the prerequisite, so on and so forth. So we may make some adjustments, not very many, but we do have to do that on occasion. Once we do that, at a later date, you will be asked to review that list one more time in PowerSchool. This too is where I need you to pay very, 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 very close attention. Here at the high school, after this second review period, we do not do changes. You will have about another week to do a second review, look over them. If you want to make changes, you have the opportunity to do that. But once that time period is over, absolutely no changes will be allowed. So that means when you come back next August, you cannot change your schedule. So the reason why is because we have a customized school master schedule. Our administrative staff customizes our teacher schedules based on what you, the students, choose that you want to take. Teachers are hired, positions are eliminated based on what students ask for. So once you ask for that, they build our entire school and teacher schedule. That is why there can be no changes when you come back in August. So this review period is going to be very, very important. Tomorrow, which is Thursday, one of the high school counselors will be stopping by to your classroom to see if there are any questions, but also to go back over this with you. All right. ACT, I know you're freshmen, but it's not too early to start thinking about this. As juniors, so coming up your junior year, you will be taking an ACT here at school for state testing. But just in case you want to take one now, this is just information. The next ACT test is Saturday, April 15th. You need to register by March 10th. Once you're a junior or a senior and you're on free and reduced lunch, you can get a waiver to take that test free. But that, again, this is just kind of a heads up as to what's to come. All right, athletics. Anything to do with athletics, tryouts, physicals, drug testing, athletic trainer applications, all of that, that is in the high school main office. That is where the athletic office is. Our athletic director is Mr. Rose. His secretary is Miss Lowry, and this is their phone number. So any questions you may have about any of that can be answered by them in the main office. Oklahoma's promise, this is huge. If you are looking to go to college, you could qualify for free college tuition. There are some specific requirements. Your teacher should have a flyer to give every one of you. If not, don't worry. I again will attach that to this email. You can start applying last year as an 8th grader, but you have to submit the application by June 30th of your 11th grade year. So you've got some time. But this is something I want you to be looking at, thinking about. It's a fantastic opportunity to get free tuition. Social media. I won't spend much time on this. I know this, you probably are going to roll your eyes, and that's okay. But what you need to be aware of is what you put on your social media accounts matter. It matters to college admissions, scholarships, jobs. There are numerous people over the years that have lost athletic scholarships. They've lost their college admission based on what they've posted on their social media. Jobs are the same. I personally know several people that have lost jobs due to social media. Sometimes even the most minor things that you would think don't matter, they do. So be very, very careful what you put on social media. You want it to represent you well. All right, let me introduce you to the Sapulpa High School counseling staff. This is Mrs. Yeager. She is the counselor for all students with the last names A through G. This is her email, and this is where our office is located. This is Mrs. Rebecca Bilby. She is the high school counselor for all students with the last names of H through O, and this is her email. And this is me. My name is Mrs. Stewart, and I am the high school counselor for all students with the last names P through Z, and this is my email. All right, just some quick reminders, just a little summary. Be sure that you do not lose that transcript you have. Like I said, your high school counselor has written on that what you need to take next year. That credit check sheet that you have, please look over that with your parent or guardian. With your parent or guardian also, look over that curriculum guide. Spend some time flipping through there, reading about the different courses and the course descriptions. After tonight, remember, you're going to get that email, the pre-enrollment email today after school. You have 1 week to log into your PowerSchool account and complete your class registration. You have until Wednesday, March 1st at 5 p.m. This presentation, as well as other links and documents, will be attached to that email. You can refer back to this for any questions or clarifications that you have. And if you have any questions, please email your current counselor, Mrs. Johnson. It is also vital, guys, I can't express this enough, how important it is for you to check your email daily. This is the best way for us to send out mass information, and you can miss out on a lot if you don't check your email. Well, I appreciate you paying attention today. Thank you very much. I look forward to working with all of you next school year. Hopefully this has answered some questions. Once again, this will all be emailed to you. If you have questions, refer back to this and all of the links and documents that are attached to your email. Thank you so much for paying attention and participating today.